Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another, I guess it would be monthly MVPs React. This month we just recently came out with the Power BI Desktop December 2020. My name's Mike Carlo. I run the website powerbi.tips with my partner in crime here, Seth Bauer. We are doing this MVPs React as a part of a Power BI Tips thing. We just want to have MVP's reaction to the desktop update. There was a lot of things coming out this month, so I'm really excited to get the MVP's reactions for everything. So we'll see how it goes. Let's jump on over to the MVPs and get going here. All right. MVPs, I think we're all here. Let's just do a quick audio check. If I can get someone, I know Reed likes talking. Reed, if you can give me just a couple, we'll start with your introduction, and we'll do a little introduction with you. We'll start with you, Reed, and then we'll just make sure that people are hearing the audio through YouTube. And if we have to do it again, I'll let you know. So go ahead, Reed, kick us off.
Yeah, once again, I think this is the third or fourth time that I've been on this. I'm really
Yeah,
excited to talk about some of the awesome features we're going to have today. Just a bit of backstory for me. Similar to Mike, I do a lot of stuff with aesthetics and design in Power BI. And I think one thing that I'm actually very excited to go forward with in 2021, at least for myself, is that my plan is to try to average on a live stream with a guest every other week. So 2 a month for all of 2021 if I can achieve that. So
sweet.
I think it's kind of the next big push. And I found that people just absolutely love to kind of hang out, like even right now that we're doing, and like hang on the chat room and talk to us as you do streams. So that's something I'm very much looking forward to.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Reed. Appreciate it. Looking forward to the new content in the next year.
Yeah,
Benny,
you'll be on.
I'm hoping to get on there. Let's move right across the screen on over to Benny. Go ahead and
Right.
give us an introduction there for you.
All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Benny Diagre. I'm a data insights consultant at Inetum Rule Dolman, which just means that I use fancy words to help customers get some insights out of their data.
Love it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do these days. I also help run this user group in Belgium called datamines.be, and we do all sorts of random things like monthly user group meetings, some conferences, those kinds of things. But overall, I am just really happy about what's happening with Power BI these days.
Me too. Excellent. Awesome. Moving on over to Daniel. Daniel, welcome.
Hello. How's it all going? Yeah, I'm Daniel. I'm based down in Canterbury, New Zealand. So it's getting close to midday here. I'm a freelance BI consultant, mostly working for myself, but also dividing some of my time with Alice's company, Discovery AI. Love to get down into the visualization layer in Power BI, develop a lot of custom visuals. Working on a very exciting one at the minute, which I'm hoping to push a lot more in the next few months. Just released a course through Redicad, so you can learn how to develop custom visuals.
Yeah.
And yeah, just generally love visuals. Very excited for this month's update. Very excited.
I'm on the docket. I got to go get that training because I've been doing a lot more custom viz stuff in general. So I'm excited to get into it. I'm gonna looking forward to the course. It'll be good. So Daniel's amazing. He's actually done an HTML content viewer, which is actually out on the marketplace, which is awesome. Very well done. Super superb. Still waiting for version 2, so I'm gonna keep ragging you until it comes out. Hope we're
Okay,
getting
so
close.
you gave me some feedback because I gave
Slowed
Mike
it
an
down,
alpha
didn't
version.
I?
He gave me some feedback, and then I needed to prototype some ideas, and then I've ended up developing a whole new visual. So I'm more excited about that one. Uh,
Squirrel. That's awesome.
but
Thomas.
I'll be doing both in parallel.
I love it. I love it. Thomas, welcome. This is the first time to the show, I believe.
Yes, it is. So I'm really excited to be here, not just because of this December update or release, just because of you guys, ladies. So I'm working for a company called Betelligent. I guess it's some kind of wording thing. Based in Germany, we are focusing on analytics, not just Microsoft Azure, also the other public clouds I never heard of. I'm the Power BI guy there and focusing on enterprises and helping them to use Power BI as it deserves as a strategic tool and not just a fancy bar chart thing.
Yeah, I've seen some of Thomas's work. It's not just normal stuff. This is like machine learning stuff. Like you get into like the real into the analytics of stuff. So kudos on that. Nice job. Like, push
Thank you, thank you.
if you need heavy analytics, Thomas is your guy. All right, just right here in the middle square. Go ahead, bud. Take us away.
Oh, yeah, thank you. My name is Just, and I'm from Denmark. I'm an independent BI consultant and the founder of the Danish Power BI user group, and also the founder and the host on the Power BI quiz show that a lot of you on this show also have been part of. It's one on YouTube also, like this one, and we're having a quiz, and we actually have one tonight with Imke Fieldman on the M language, and we have a new topic every week on Power BI quiz. So please come and join us in these quizzes that we run every second Wednesday.
And this is every second Wednesday of the month, or are you doing it like in consecutive weeks?
Every second Wednesday of consecutive weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Week after week, but every second one. Okay, awesome. Yeah. I've been on the show. It's a lot of fun. It tests your knowledge. There's some really smart people, and it proves to me very quickly I don't know anything. There's a lot of people who know a whole lot more than I do. So thank you very much. I appreciate your contributions. Darren, welcome, buddy.
Hey.
Give us a quick introduction.
Okay, so I'm Darren Gospel from, pardon me, Melbourne, Australia. It's a sunny Thursday morning here, not Friday night, but not Wednesday. So I'm speaking to you from the future.
I like this.
Yeah. I run the Melbourne Microsoft Data Platform user group here in Melbourne. We've been a little bit quiet with the whole COVID lockdown thing, but
sure,
planning to ramp up that a bit more next year again once we get back to being able to talk to people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and in my free time, I like to work on a little tool called DAX Studio.
Yes, amazing tool. Don't undersell it.
So I've got about like 3 or 4 feature branches going in parallel at the moment on that. So
excellent.
Always tinkering.
Love it.
Stuff. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your contribution. DAX Studio is absolutely incredible. I thoroughly enjoy all the hard work you put in there. I use it almost every day. So thank you very much. Top-notch, great quality. Thank you very much. Mark, how you going? How you doing, buddy? Got your custom Power BI shirt on there.
Yeah, of course, the old new Power BI shirt. So hi, my name is Mark. I'm from the Netherlands. Actually, for me, it's almost 11 p.m. now. So for me, it's almost night. So I'm not talking from the future, but from the past for Darren. Actually, one of the fun things that I'm doing at this moment is working on a new version for my own tool, the model documenter, to document your Power BI models.
Yeah.
And I just released a new update that lets you choose between 2 different export types, either a Power BI file as in documentation or an Excel format. Probably people want to export to Excel for the documentation. I don't get why, honestly, but if they really want to populate their own stuff to it, their own text, go ahead. So that's what I'm doing besides working for a Dutch IT company.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate your contribution. We'll be getting that in the business ops tool hopefully pretty soon. So we'll be talking after this meeting. Alice, welcome. Thanks for coming back.
Hey, no worries. Thanks for having me. So my name's Alice Drummond. I'm based in Melbourne, Australia. So like Darren, I'm co-founder of Discovery AI. So we specialize in Power BI and graphic design for the environmental industry. And exciting news, we've got a new Power BI meetup. So it's Power BI for Enviros. So really nice niche meetup, but it's all about connecting up anyone in the environmental industry who wants to see some really cool applications. So it's not just for enviros, it's for anyone who loves Power BI and wants to see some really cool examples.
Love it. Your design on your reports are second to none. Very good job on all your report stuff. So I really appreciate all your contributions.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna I hope I get this name right. Is it Stefan? I'm gonna get it wrong. Did I get it right?
You can pronounce it like that.
Oh man, sorry about that.
Okay.
No, you got it wrong.
I thought I got it wrong. You can tell me I'm wrong. That's totally okay.
Okay. Hi everyone. If I would say it in my original language, the name is pronounced Stepan Rešl, but easily you can call me Steven.
Okay, that would have been
I'm
easier.
really interested. Yeah, I think so. I'm really interested to be here. It's my first time when I'm here. I'm doing a blog about Power BI inside my country. So if you would like to find out some of my content, I think it wouldn't be easy for you to read because it's inside a Czech.
Nice.
But a few months ago, I've published a Power BI cheat sheet, which contains every basic stuff about Power BI inside one page, and I'm just developing it to version 2. And this cheat sheet is also inside of English, so
Awesome.
that's one thing from me you can find out.
Well, I'll circle up with you after the meeting, and we'll make sure we get the cheat sheet so I can throw it into a Twitter or tweet about the meeting today. So that about wraps it for introductions. Everyone, thank you very much for attending today. Topics today or anything across the Power BI desktop for the December release. So anybody want to kick me off and start off with the topic here?
I think we have there 3 more who hasn't introduced themselves.
Oh, we have more on the chat. Oh, hold on. Do I have to go? Let me see if I can switch it here to large.
We don't have to pay attention to Gilbert, though. You know.
Hold on. Let's go large gallery. Let's see if I can do large gallery.
Large gallery. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Sorry about that. All right. Who did we miss? Tristan. All right. We got you. And Gilbert. And who else did I miss?
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right. Just the 2. All right. Tristan, take it away, bud.
Hi, guys. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Mike, it's my first time as well, so
thank you for coming.
So my name is Tristan. I'm based in France. I have my own company called Datapulse. We do mostly Power BI consulting services and trainings. I am also running the Power BI user group in France called Club Power BI. We have our last meetup of the year tomorrow. It will be in French, so if you want to learn a bit of Power BI and also some French words, you are more than welcome for this meetup. And yeah, very excited about this year 2020. We had a lot of stuff on Power BI, and I'm really excited to be with you tonight or today and talking about the updates.
Awesome, appreciate it. Gilbert, looks like you're at the beach again. You're always at the beach, Gilbert.
That's why I live on the Gold Coast.
I love it.
Yes, for Gilbert, I'm a consultant working for me. I'm a co-organizer of the Queensland Power User Group, which is still virtual. And yeah, just really excited about all the new features we have this month.
Wonderful. Well, appreciate it. All right. And with that, thank you guys for keeping me honest here, making sure everyone on the call. I appreciate it. Let's jump in. Who wants to kick us off first? Daniel, I think you've got some news on the, what is it? Shoot, I'm dropping the name now. I just forgot it. Multiple charts. Small multiples. I don't know why I was dropping the name there. Yes, there you go. Small multiples. There it is.
Oh, it's just amazing to see them, huh?
We've been asking for it for quite a while. It's a pretty standard thing to have small multiples up there, huh?
Yeah. I don't know if a lot of you remember, but before Power BI went GA in 2015, we had Power View, which was back in Microsoft Power BI for Office 365.
Yes.
And that's the only feature we didn't get parity with when Power BI, it took about 6 months for most stuff to get feature parity, and then small multiples just never materialized.
Well, so 2005 to 2020, so it only took us 5 years to get there. We got it. That's awesome. Has anyone had a chance to play around with some of the small multiple things? Anything that you find interesting? Any limitations that you're kind of seeing with it, or had a chance to play with it a bit there?
Well, I do think that the 34 at a time showing, it would be nice if it was a little bit higher for the number of multiples. But other than that, it's been very very responsive for me.
Awesome.
I loved just how simple it is, how it's not a new visual, it's just in the native line chart, it's just a new field. I literally just looked at it the first time this morning, and you could just figure it out.
I know,
easy.
that's great.
It should be.
There's when I look at the options in the window, and I guess it's coming out in preview, so I guess this will come with time, but it looks like over time they're going to continue to enhance and add more options for us. But the initial release looks like a kind of like the let's call it the beta version or the early bird version, right? So there's a couple options in there, not a ton around small multiples, but I'm guessing we're going to get one of those really long expandable windows in the future with all the fun options we're going to add in there for all the small multiples. Has anyone pushed the limits? Has anyone gone through and made tons of dots or put a ton of charts on the screen? Any limitations you found there?
I've tried to use 42 of them in a single try to view, and it was kind of slow after about 30. It was slowing really down, and even we've tried. It came up from a customer who came, hey, we seen it just come up. We really want to try it. Okay, we pushed it inside, and it was, hey, why are we waiting about 3 seconds to them just be able to view? It's just about a preview. Just give it a moment. They have to figure it out.
I'd agree with that one. That's probably going to be something we're going to see here. Is again why it's coming out probably in preview here is because there's going to be a lot of work probably on the back end, optimizing performance, tuning things as well there. So that's usually it comes after you can get the feature out.
I can't speak for how it's actually engineered in Power BI, but as a developer of a visual that has done small multiples, I can assure you that they're pretty tricky.
Oh, I would imagine so.
So to do them in a single visual is tricky, but to do them in a core product at a kind of, that base layer, and to try and make all visuals work and fit all those use cases, I can only imagine that it's been ridiculously difficult.
Yeah. I think this one's been on the roadmap for quite a while. I mean, this was announced quite a while ago, so that means they were building into this for quite a long time now, so for sure.
I think Amir announced it back in April at the MBAs.
Oh, wow, that far ago. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I was saying
I remember making an excited tweet about it back in April. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's been a long time coming.
Did you take a look at the underlying DAX query for this visual? I didn't do it, but I would be curious to see what is the query which is sent by the engine. Did you look into it?
That's a really good question.
I haven't traced it. I assume they just add the column that's being used for the multiples as a another column in the query, and then they split it up in the visual, would be my guess. So I think it would probably be a more efficient query than having 30 queries fire off to generate 30 charts.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, the downside is for 30 charts, you'll see the charts pop in one at a time, so you know it's doing stuff.
And actually, I think it is like that, because if they do 30 queries, they will not reach any additional performance win comparing to having just 30 charts on your canvas.
You'd also see the other wait type popping up as well for just waiting for visuals to render, or is it rendering as a single block of visuals?
I haven't seen the underlying DAX, but I do know that it's a single query, and as you scroll, it will requery for additional small multiples. So even though it only displays 36 maximum in a grid, you can scroll and see more. So as you scroll, it will requery, but I just haven't dug into the actual DAX.
Cool. I'll be curious. I'll see. Someone's got their blog post, that one, digging into the small multiples DAX queries.
Yeah, actually, speaking of blog posts, there is a separate blog post specifically for small multiples today on the Power BI blog.
I did see that. Yeah, it's on there. Yep.
Yeah, that talks about the roadmap as well. So there's, I think they're planning an additional 3 deliverables before it goes GA.
I'm going to put that on the YouTube chat.
So there's some stuff that isn't there currently, but they're actually road mapping it out quite nicely. So I think it's worth a read if you're looking for a little more functionality.
Cool. just dropped the link in there for the blog post, and this was called out in the blog post about Power BI Desktop as well. So if you want that one's out there. Cool. Any other cool features that are out there that you want to talk about?
Yeah, it's not exactly.
Actually, I think no.
Whoops. Sorry, I got a little echo going there.
Tristan, go for it.
Wrap it up.
No.
Do you want to talk about the dark mode for the Android app?
That's what I was going for. I was going for dark mode.
Exactly.
Well, so this has been like kind of an inside joke. So Tristan is a outstanding vocal and very proponent of the feature we got today. And I guess let me make sure I get the right terminology on it. They're calling it direct query for Power BI data sets. So that the feature set here is I have data sets that are analysis services models, and now I can make another analysis services model that points to those models and can use them as a data source, a direct query source. Tristan, how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, it's awesome. We've been waiting in this feature for so long.
Yeah.
It's I used to call this the feature of the decade, but I actually think it's the feature of the century. It's totally awesome. It's gonna open brand new opportunities for us as consultants or data professionals.
Yeah.
And it's not just about combining data sets. It can be also like you want to connect to a Power BI data set and then combine it to an Excel sheet. For example, you have your budgets in a separate Excel file. They haven't been incorporated to the initial Power BI data set. That's one of the most frequent scenario I'm facing today as a consultant. And yeah, I really think this feature is gonna be totally awesome for us and for the community in general. The perfect union between corporate BI and self-service BI. Yeah.
That's your statement. I can't agree more with there. The union between corporate BI and self-service. I like that a lot. I think there's a lot more to unpack there. I'm sorry. Who is going to go next? Thomas?
Actually, I totally agree with Tristan, and it's not just combining data models. It's also about querying data that are maybe located on different premium capacities that are located in different regions because of regulatory requirements. A client of mine now we will become able to query data sets that are apart and not for technical reasons. So it's the most epic feature ever. Oh no, not the most. The second most, the most epic feature is dark mode for Android.
Yeah.
I thought that's amazing. That's awesome.
Okay. Your camera went off, Mike, just FYI.
I think my camera's on the live stream. I turned it off on the MVP thing. So let me put that back on there for you.
Gotcha.
Thanks, bud.
Great. Well, actually, what I think is an interesting view on this, everyone always said, we want composite models. And I always told them, it's already there. Because there is already a feature for a long time in Power BI that is called composite models. And that's why it is interesting to see that they now called it, I don't remember the exact phrase that you mentioned, Mike, but direct query over analysis service or something.
Yeah, it was direct query for Power BI data sets. I think that makes sense from like a terminology standpoint, but you're right. This is a composite model.
But that is already
composite models version 2. Yeah.
Yeah, we could already combine direct query and import in one model, and that is more or less what it's doing, but they are just enriching the set of connectors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't super happy that they changed the terminology. I really do think that it's like, it's just more words to, I think, potentially confuse individuals. We're like, no, this is just an enhanced composite model. So I don't know why they didn't call you a composite model against tabular or something like that.
I also love the term proxy models.
Ooh.
For this one.
I like that.
Yeah.
Blog post coming out soon.
A model on top of other models. Yeah.
Nice.
If you watch the videos available, there's a moment where there's a button make the model local. So I guess this is the most confusing thing ever. So maybe this can be fun.
So let me unpack that a bit there with you, Thomas. You're saying that there's a button that so you can it acts just like a normal Power BI data source.
Data model.
I could import it or I could direct query it. So I could do both. So I can connect to analysis service, but I could import it previously, right? I could import another analysis services model. That's not the new feature. The new feature is the fact that I can now direct query it, not bring the data into my current model, but leave the data in another model and use that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's not importing, it's just about what's the Power BI desktop file is knowing about the remote model that you are connecting to.
Sure.
To make all this magic happen, it has to become local. Maybe this is not local, does not mean import data, just some more knowledge about the exact remote data model. So this will be confusing, and maybe this is hindering the adoption of this feature.
Interesting. Well, I liked where you were going with splitting your model up and putting on different capacities. That was an interesting concept. So this also means you could have 3 models supporting your one model, and one could be on premium,
exactly.
One could be in a shared capacity potentially, and one could be somewhere else, maybe on-prem if you needed. So it gives you a lot of variety of options there. This is going to change how people have to talk about the Power BI architecture in general now.
Yeah.
This is a big change.
This is epic, and I know why Tristan is still crying joy.
From an architecture
let's be honest,
perspective,
it's gonna change our work. It's gonna change the way we work, the way we design solutions, the way we build architectures, the way we try to build a relationship between IT and business. It's gonna really reshape all of that, I think. Yeah.
From an architecture perspective, we should rethink about our solutions, because why should we build one big model if we can build multiple smaller ones and then combine them in a composite model?
Exactly.
I'd be curious, Darren, have you done any kind of testing around some of the stuff that's actually happening in the composite model? Is there new DAX that's being executed here? I mean, they couldn't just turn this on. This was a feature that's been in the works for a long time. There's a lot of work that requires to get to this stage. Anything you're aware of on the DAX side, the engine side?
I know they've definitely implemented some changes in the back end, which is why the remote models have to either be Azure Analysis Services or Power BI, because they're running the latest version of the engine, so it won't work at the moment with on-prem analysis services.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't dug too much into what's changed.
Sure.
I know I've just been looking with Marco. We've added a feature that'll be coming in a future version of DAX Studio, because when you do the performance analyzer in Power BI and you copy the query, if you're over one of these direct query over analysis services models, you get 2 DAX statements, and the bottom one only runs against the remote model.
Oh, interesting.
And the top one's what's executed against the local. So if you're connected in DAX Studio, you want the top query. So we've got a dialog where you can choose to ignore the bottom one.
Yeah.
So I was going to follow up with the product team and see if there's a way to find out what connection is that bottom one connected to.
That would be a good idea.
I'd like to be able to go off and run that one separately.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Alex Dupler, who's I believe Alex is from Microsoft, he says there are actually some specific limits between the amount of data you can shove between models. So if you think about it, if I have a query that spans 2 models, I may have, let's just call it for sake of a better term, a product dimension. And if the product dimension is in both subtables, I've got to lift potentially product information out of one table or one model and bring it over to the other model for me. And so it seems like there's some limitations there. So I think there's probably going to be, hopefully from this group of experts, a white paper at some point. Tristan, a white paper around all the testing and the edge cases we should look for. Tristan, maybe a white paper around what are the conditions, what's happening there, what are the limitations, how much can I push across between the 2 different models. So really cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've seen some massive strings generated, like when it has to do a a relationship across two models and you've created a relationship, it has to send a massive in clause, where the product selected is in this list.
Wow.
Yeah,
so huge.
It is the same limitations you have today when you are using composite model with a direct connection to SQL and import also. So it's the same kind of limitations, and how it writes when it's a direct query, it writes SQL and then shifting data around. So I believe we have a white paper on this already, because there's same concepts that we are using today around composite models.
I was going to say
additional data sources.
On the plus side, one of the biggest pain points for me as someone supporting large analysis services models in enterprises has been that we've explicitly had to kill people's queries where they're trying to import massive amounts of data from our cubes so that they can mesh it up in their own models.
Gotcha.
And some of these things, bring the server to its knees because they're trying to pull millions of records out of a tabular model.
So I have a question around that specifically. So, I mean, if you're hitting a tabular model with like a third-party tool, right, there's nothing that stops you from bringing out a million records at one time. Does that query block all other queries? Or are they, if I request a million rows out of a model, does all the Power BI reports that are asking for little tiny queries across the model, are those blocked until you're done with that big 1 million row query?
No, the query engine's multi-threaded, and there is a finite pool of query engine, or what they call it, the formula engine threads. There's a formula engine thread pool, but
sure. So you're talking about number of cores at this point.
Yeah, but then you've got CPU constraints, memory constraints, and if you've got, we had a number of things that would be processing and incrementally adding data every 15 minutes or so. So if you've got a big query that takes 20 minutes, that'll block processes, and then processes, they put a hard lock on the cube, which blocks new queries coming in, and you end up with this cascading locks and blocks behind processing, behind big queries, so if you can keep your queries short and fast, life is good.
Awesome. All right. Any other kind of final thoughts on this topic? Do you want to keep going on this one? I would talk about this all day long if I could. But
there is one thing to mention, I think, Mike.
Yeah.
The first thing is that it's not premium restricted. We had a lot of questions on this on the social networks such as Twitter.
Yeah.
Where people ask, is this only for premium customers? The answer is no. You can also use it just with a pro license. So I think it's important to say that.
Yeah, that's a huge win.
And the second point is that as of today, I think it only really works if your data set is in Power BI. It still doesn't really work if your data set is in Azure Analysis Services. And it neither works if your cube is stored on SSAS, even in the latest versions.
Sure.
So yeah.
You can
start. For Azure Analysis Services, I know that I talked to someone from Microsoft about it today. Yes, there is something that is blocking it from working as it should be working. There are ways to get it working, but you might bump into some issues, to not name them specifically. They're working on rolling out a bug fix for that, or an update on the analysis services side that they're trying to get there before Christmas. They're doing best as they can, but that is
it's a lot of work, I guess.
Promise, but they're doing what they can.
Yeah. Benny.
But in most scenarios, it still works with Azure Analysis Services.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
One thing that just occurred to me as we were talking is the licensing stuff. So I'm not sure how premium per user will play into this. If you've got one user that's bought a premium per user model into a composite model, and then another user tries to hit it that doesn't have a premium per user license.
That will get interesting if you look at it from perspective. So I probably have access to a workspace where a premium per user model is published, so I can build a new model on top of that. But if chaining is there after the public preview state, who can leverage my model again that probably need to have a premium per user license?
Yeah, where does the licensing and where does the
I'll say
permissions and
this.
workspace?
Microsoft will get its money, so they're going to figure out how to make sure it
Yes.
works. So
Yeah.
someone's paying
Yeah.
for it.
That is for sure.
Probably they're also chaining the licensing.
Yeah. Awesome. Great thoughts, guys. One thing I know from a designs perspective, one thing I just kind of I didn't wasn't really paying attention to it, but one thing I'm not trying to change the topic here. We can kind of come back to this if we want to again, but I want to hit on a couple other things here. One of them is the Dataverse connector is out now. Dataverse is the naming change, I believe, for Common Data Model, the CDM. Is that correct? Correct me if I'm right there. We'll just keep changing the names, and maybe people will start using it.
Yeah, I think honestly that they just changed the name and that it's nothing new.
I really like this idea of having like a lake that's supporting Power BI. I have a lot of use cases around where I need like data at rest, and then I need to pick up that data and bring it into, I need a compute layer, and then I need to get it into my analysis services model or my Power BI models. So I think this is a very compelling story, and I really like where things are going with like data flows. There was a couple announcements. Actually, there was like a little link sent out in the middle of the blog around, hey, here's some data flows announcements. They're out there too. And I've really been liking the improvements coming from data flows. It is becoming way more usable. I feel like there's a lot more responsiveness. The response time on things, it's giving me visual indicators when things are happening. So I'm super pleased there. Any thoughts around Dataverse or the data flow stuff that's coming out?
Data flows, definitely. I saw an update, but I'm not even sure if it is in the Power BI blog, but I just noticed a release of a connector for Power Automate, actually, that allows us to see the refresh status of a data flow.
Yes.
And with that, we can work on some advanced refresh scenarios where we respect dependencies between data flows and data sets and just wait till they're finished before we trigger the next one.
Yeah. I like this idea.
And honestly, I think this was long overdue because the data set connector to trigger refresh was already there. And personally, I worked a lot with just using the REST APIs, but now having a native connector is even better.
For sure.
I'm not sure if it's even in the blog post, honestly.
I think it got a blog post of its own on the Microsoft blog. Yeah.
Yeah, on the Power BI blog or the Power Automate blog, because it's a Power Automate connector.
BI blog, I think. Yeah. Let me check quickly.
I'm really interested how fast they're developing data flows, but I'm really interested when we will get quite same view inside the Power BI desktop query. Because
I'm with you.
Why we have inside data flows script where we can edit everything at once, but inside Power BI desktop query we don't have.
Yeah, I really like the new diagram view in the doc. That would be awesome if we had that in Power Query desktop.
And I like the fact that you can compare the steps between two. So in the diagram view, you can have like two paths of processing. And so if you're processing the same data twice, you can expand the bar and see all the individual steps. Like, hey, I'm adding rows, I'm renaming something, I'm doing these steps, and you can walk your way through it. And I was doing a project recently where I had two steps. I was trying to grab the data from the ideas.powerbi.com and build a report off of it. So I had the completed ideas and I had everything else that wasn't completed. And so as I was building the data to come in, I had the exact same steps. It was the exact same data structure, but I was making changes. So I was trying to look between the two steps. So I found that very helpful. Really like that. Great feature. And I can't wait for that to come to desktop.
Yeah, definitely, especially for new users. I think like if you've been using Power Query for a while, it's fine. You kind of know all the applied steps or in the advanced editor.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of training and trying to anything you can see visually, it just really helps people.
Yeah, that's been one of the arguments that I heard a lot from people working with Alteryx or Tableau Prep and those kind of things.
Sure.
That they said that visual display of how the queries are running was actually a big advantage. And as soon as they level out that playing field, that's just another plus for Power BI.
Yeah. And one of the things to note here, I think why we're seeing Power Query come to the service early, and again, I'm totally speculating on this one, right? There's many different teams that are using Power Query, and I think there's so Power Apps use Power Query, and you have Power Query in Data Factory, and you have Power Query in Power BI. So it's kind of like different flavors of the same tool. Now they don't all have the exact same capability, which it'll be nice to see if they can get all of them under the same hood, or whatever they're doing to make all that run. It'd be nice to see that the same across everywhere you go, so you have the same functionality no matter what. But I'm very pleased to feel that they're doing that improvement, and I'm gonna put something out there, and we'll see what happens. If you think about what they're doing, they've got Power Query now all 100% online. We've got PowerBI.com with analysis services things in there. And we can build reports in PowerBI.com. The only thing we're missing is Power BI Desktop in the service. When is this coming? I don't know. But I feel like.
Did you see the release blog, Mike?
This is feeling like this is.
There is this vague little.
They did say it. Yes.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. It's.
Magic is coming soon. We'll automatically build your reports for you. I saw that one.
The quickly create reports in the service? I got a little bit scared about this. It's making it too easy.
Well, there goes our job.
Is it going to be called Quick Reports? We'll have quick measures, and then there will be a new tool called Quick Reports. Click a button, you select a report you want, and it just
boom, done.
Makes it for you. Just don't sneeze or breathe on it, otherwise it might fall apart.
So I have to imagine that there's something somewhere that someone has done some work around this. But if you think about it, like this is probably the direction they're going to go, is where we'll be authoring reports inside a browser at some point, and then at that point in time, any user can use it. You can be on a Mac, a PC. You might be able to author things on your phone or a tablet. That's kind of a really neat idea when they bring that last kind of capability, because we've got the data tables, they're done. We've got the engine, it's there. We can make reports. The report builder portion is there. So they're all kind of synced. The only thing I can't do is build a measure. So why can't I build measures?
It's probably going to be tied into Q&A.
Our work.
Sorry, there's a lot of people saying things. Let's jump in there. Someone said something about Q&A. Who was that?
Yeah, that was me.
Benny. Take us away, Benny.
Anyway, if we're speculating anyway, then I think it's going to be tied into Q&A somehow, where you just type in your natural language questions, and then it's going to do some intelligent things for you. I'm not saying that it will work perfectly, not saying that we'll see it soon, but it could be that way.
Well,
who knows?
Q&A is fully depending on, if you ask me, if you have reasonable column and table names and measure names, as well as adding synonyms to it. If you don't do that, it will work for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but it's just like they putting everything inside the cloud, and it's just a part of the time when we will have just one big Q&A where we will come and say, hey, I would like to see a report of our revenue by last 10 years, and it will create all the reports just by itself.
Well, I mean, this is kind of like machine learning, right? If you just throw enough examples out there, someone's going to pick the right one, and it's going to kind of say what you want. But I would say, in order for that to happen, you've got to have a really strong data model. Very well described, very good naming of columns. So, if nothing else, we may not be building reports in the future, but at least we'll be good modelers. We should learn that more, I guess.
We can just automate everything. Automate the generation of data flows, automate whatever, refreshes.
Exactly.
That's all we need to do.
I'll take a moment here. Rui, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. It looks like you've been spending too much money on Amazon. I think you've adequately filled up your house with presents for your children, I assume. That's probably
that's that.
Power BI swag, right? It's all like shirts and cups and all kinds of fun Power BI things for all your friends.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sad that I couldn't make it early. I had an unexpected situation.
That's okay. The client can wait.
I still wanted to come and wish you guys at least a very happy Christmas.
Well, we appreciate it. We just got done talking about all the fancy feature that we were so excited about, which was dark mode for Android phones. So we just completed that one, and now we're on to like other remedial tasks and other announcement pieces. Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything else that anyone found was fun or interesting that
Yeah.
you want to kind of discuss? And I did put
I've got one.
the blog in there
Sorry.
for the Power the Power Automate, so that made it to the list there. Sorry, who was that one? I forgot. I didn't catch it. Is that Benny again?
Yeah, that was myself. Yeah. I'm actually really happy that Rui is here for this one because you'll love it as well.
All right.
It's a service release, and it's the Lineage API that was released earlier this week. And it's not a super popular topic, but the amount of information that you can get from that API is insane. It opens up so many new doors for just grabbing up extra information.
So I didn't read up much on that one. Give me
and
just
not
like the 10,000 foot
forget,
view. Why is that important, and what is that why is the value that we're going to get from that?
Well, it allows you to asynchronously scan through your workspaces. So you don't have to get every single thing at once. So it allows you to do things a bit more intelligently.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it also allows you to get certification status for reports and apps and data sets. And that's something that you weren't able to get out of there just until now.
Awesome.
So those two things can make it really interesting if you do some things with APIs and audit logs and correlating these two.
Well, together with that, I think it's really cool that we can now use service principals for admin APIs.
I was going to mention the same one.
Because that always has to run on a new user.
Yeah.
And at least for read activities or read APIs.
All right, Rui, we expect a new blog or a new presentation, another 100-slide deck with a bunch of hack examples here. Like how can we hack the system again and get all the information out? We're going to need some good content here.
Actually, I made a presentation in SQL Saturday, Bulgaria, this Saturday, just talking about that. It's monitoring, how to monitor your Power BI tenants. I even deliver a Power BI report and a collection of PowerShell scripts to fetch this data.
What?
And yes, I completely agree with Benny. So the async API will make way faster to fetch this data. It will give you more data because you actually get the data sources for all the workspaces. You get the lineage. And the service principal authentication is awesome. So now I don't need to have a Power BI admin account to get the data.
Why spend $10 a month if you don't need it?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Not only that, it's way more secure because you even if you put the password in a key vault, it's still a Power BI admin account that if someone grabs that password, it has full control over your tenants. Service principal, yes. If you lose the service principal, client ID and secret, it's also dangerous, but it's not so dangerous as an actual login that someone can log into your tenants and delete everything.
Well, and read only is the key thing here, right? Read only is what we want, right? I want to be able to see everything. I just don't want you to edit anything.
So, and besides what Benny already mentioned, maybe there are some unlucky people outside there that do not use Azure Purview, but need to scan the Power BI datasets with thousands of workspaces, not to mention thousands of datasets, and want to integrate that into their maybe not that good data catalog that is not able to scan the Power BI tenant out of the box right now. And so this is another reason why we are able to use this new admin APIs, because they can do calls with REST API calls.
I know more about this, how this game a priority for the team actually. They were working closely with Colibra, which is a third-party vendor for actually data cataloging and all that. And I've been involved in a discussion, and it was not with Colibra, I believe, but with another vendor, where they actually were, no, it was a different one. They were actually looking at a way to extract all the PBIX files from the entire tenant, and then unpack them, unzip them to see what the actual source was of this file. And I said, you're not going to do that. I will not grant you access to do this.
Yeah, no. No.
Well, and so this is a good, I think, a stepping stone to where what I'd like to see happening, right? I mean, at some point in time, right, we need to be able to go through full data lineage, right? From what is the source, what are the tables I'm pulling in, what are the measures we're using, and I'd like to go all the way down to like the visual level, right? What's being used most frequently, or can we get logging around that kind of stuff? That's where I would love to start seeing this happen.
Yes.
I don't know how long it's
There's
going to take us
stuff
to get
coming
there,
for
though.
that. There's stuff coming for that. At least it will help us if you get a little bit creative. And that is also on the public roadmap, which is more insights in the analysis services engine and the queries that are executed on the engine. I'm not sure that it really goes into a visual level or what level of detail we can get out of that. But at least more in what columns are queried and what tables are hit by the queries.
I do know, I was talking with Phil Seamark yesterday for doing aggregations on top of Power BI aggregation tables. He was talking about the fact that we now have the ability to turn on log analytics for pro users on the XML endpoints. So that does give us starting to dump out a bunch of information about who's hitting the models and how those models are interacting.
Yep.
Cool.
I'm just looking up the link for that specific one, so
yeah,
you can
please
drop
do.
it in the chat.
Yeah, send it my way. I'll make sure we get it in there. Excellent. Great points, guys. Any other things that you thought was noteworthy that we should discuss or talk about? SurveyMonkey has been updated. All those SurveyMonkeys you do.
I got one. I was going to say for maybe the 23 people in the world that develop custom visuals, we've got a second month in a row where we've actually got some progress in the API. We've got a new feature and we can put conditional formatting in.
I like that feature.
Deal.
Everything should be conditionally formatted.
Really long time.
Yeah.
And that's really big, Daniel, not just for custom visual developers like yourself, but then for everyone who uses custom visuals. Because I saw James Dale's updating his icon map to have conditional formatting. So all the people who love custom visuals, we love that too.
Yeah, and it's quite good because if we wanted to do it before, and James would have been the same, you have to create extra data roles, and that eats up your data set. So I'd looked at a few features that people wanted with my small multiples visual, and it just got really hard because you just lose volume if you start putting extra measures in. Whereas if you do them conditionally, then it's quite nice. So I'm really looking forward to taking that for a spin.
So does that mean?
You're right, Alice. It should make the user experience for a lot of consumers of custom visuals a lot more.
Because I know with James Dale's icon map, it's awesome. We can have all of this control over heaps of different inputs, and we can bring in a measure for the hex code of fill or outline color. But there was just so many you have to write. So if it's conditionally formatted, it makes it a lot easier for new users of the visual, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
So is this talking more about the point of like bringing in like a single data column and then using a single data column to determine other properties or values that you want to do? Is that kind of where you're going with that for what James Dales was doing with his visual, Alice?
Yeah. So in visuals, you have the field wells. So he had, I don't know, maybe like 20 individual field wells of all these different things you could bring in.
Gotcha.
And the two which could be removed with conditional formatting is the fill color and the outline color.
Gotcha.
So now if we can conditionally format that, it's just as you would expect under any other visual. Under the data colors, you have your nice little FX. Just put your measure in there. And for users, I think it will be a lot more user-friendly.
Awesome. Looking forward to that then. Well, Daniel, you're going to be stuck in another rabbit hole for another 2 weeks playing with that part of the visuals.
Basically. Pretty much, yeah. And as I suppose the other thing is just on the subject, there's a whole bunch of more custom visuals this month, which is really good, and we hit 300, which is quite awesome. So we're up to 306 now.
Talking about visuals, did we see anything about the Power Automate visual? I just noticed that it is actually listed for December 2020 as well on the roadmap.
I haven't seen anything.
I wonder if they failed to update that, or if it got shuffled under the rug.
Good question.
Well, actually, it also opens up a lot of cool options, but then at least they should release it.
Yeah, our 2 big ticket items for this month got pushed back from November, so I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it though.
Did premium per user? So they did make a note here. Power BI Premium per user public preview is now available. So was it not public preview before?
Yeah, it was, but I think they just announced that they hit all the regions and all the tenants and everything, and
Gotcha.
everyone that subscribed for it, because you could do a priority subscription or whatever that you just list it up as I want to get it first. And I think now they just reached everyone.
Yeah. I still want to make Chromium a thing. It just rolls off the tongue so much easier. Chromium, yeah. Premium per user is hard to say. Chromium, it's just it has a great ring to it, you know.
Now you say premium per user. Actually, one of the program managers also released a blog today. Actually, you mentioned me in the blog and he dropped me the link. I didn't even know about it, which is about deployment pipelines combined with premium per user. I think if you work with Power BI Premium and you work with a DTAP approach, it can be interesting to see that you want to have your development, test, and acceptance workspace also in your premium capacity.
Yeah.
But you don't want to occupy your entire capacity with a load of test workspaces and all that, because they just take up memory. If you work with a combination of Power BI Premium and Premium per user, you can have your development, test, and acceptance workspace on a Premium per user, and only your production on an actual Premium capacity.
This makes a lot of sense.
And you can still leverage the full capability of deployment pipelines.
Well, you want to keep that production piece kind of clean and open, right? I mean, to Darren's part earlier, right? There's a limited amount of cores we have on whatever we're buying, right? We're going to get 8, 12, 4, 16, whatever we're going to buy, and those CPUs have a limited amount of time to compute out all the queries. So if I'm shoving a bunch of dev stuff in there as well as my production things, I don't technically want that. I want to keep my dev environment pretty clean and not as noisy for me. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Mark's blog soon coming from for Power BI Premium per user and how to leverage it through dev pipelines.
Actually,
did you already do one?
I wrote a blog about this.
I think you already talked about it.
I wrote a blog about it like 2 months ago.
See?
And that's when we talked about it as well.
Previously on MVP's React.
Yes.
Is the limit on Power BI Premium per user announced? The amount of the max size of the datasets?
That's a great question. I thought I don't know if I saw any exact size of limits of that one. Anybody can find that on the blog post?
I think it's not, because now if you're using a Premium per user, you can set up your workspace to large capacity as a normal Premium, not just a Premium, not just workspace as a Pro. So I didn't met any specific white paper with limits, but as it seems really same as premium itself.
Yeah, but the premium, for example, the P1, you can go. You don't have limits on the storage. You have 100 terabytes, but you have on P1 25 gigabytes of memory max.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is yet public. What's the maximum size that you can go with a premium per user? For example, let's imagine that it's 50 gigabytes.
I got it. It's here. So updates for Premium Gen 2 preview. For example, a Gen 2 Premium Gen 2 dataset is allowed to be data size is limited to 25 gigs in comparison to the original Premium.
The original Premium had a lower limit.
Let me get
not limited to the entire capacity size.
Correct.
If you enable large models.
So I'll put in the link for this one too. So this is starting to talk about some of the Gen 2. So it looks like you can have multiple models that are 25 gigs in the same Premium per user workspace. But before you had 25 gigs, that was it. If you had a 25 gig model, you could put one in and you were done. So you're kind of like a one and done now. So it seems like they've kind of opened up that that options there and done it a little bit differently. Drop the link in for that documentation in the live chat.
Because, for example, in comparison with Azure Analysis Services, even if it's 25 gig, you can actually, with Premium per user, you can have, if this is by workspace. So what it means is you can have 100 gigabytes of memory on 5 workspaces just by paying the Premium per user license. This is way it's a bargain in terms of for users that are actually using Azure Analysis Services. You can get a lot more memory Of course, that you need to be in a 100 or 200 users max, otherwise it won't compensate. But it's but I actually I don't know what's the limit of the actual data set in memory in size, so in the premium per user.
It'll also
I
be
think
interesting.
it's also 25 gigabyte. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, say that
But
again.
It's opening up so many. It's opening up so many possibilities, and age analysis services won't be the place to go to host your models going forward. I have a customer now that it's actually cheaper for them to buy a P1 premium and then flip over their analysis services cubes because they can, have more features, but also save money.
Microsoft made that very public. That Power BI Premium is going to be the superset of whatever analysis services was. So you definitely can see them investing a lot more effort and building that to be the place to go for where you want to buy this stuff.
Aggregations still don't exist in Azure Analysis Services, for example.
True.
There are some features which exist today in Power BI which do not exist in Azure Analysis Services.
Yeah,
and
that list is getting longer.
The case even more in the future.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's where we are going now. And I heard a rumor that the XML endpoint write will go GA here before Christmas. So
there is one big remaining question about this PPU. It's the price.
That's exactly.
We still don't have any information.
No
about
pricing
the price,
yet.
right?
It's free. It's free.
It's free. Just keep using it. You'll be happy.
Yeah.
Same price you're paying right
Until
now.
everyone has it, and there's no way back.
Yes, exactly. You've tasted the premium, the promium, as Reed would say.
Thank you. Yes. I think it's a great term. I'm gonna continue to use it until it becomes a thing. It's gonna be like pets. I'm gonna make it a thing.
Yeah. Let's put a little TM after it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate your time. I want to be mindful of your time. We've got about 7 minutes left to the top of the hour. We've covered a lot of topics. We started a bit early. I thank you very much for participating. I had a lot of fun with you again. Thank you so much for participating. I hope to see you, not January. I think we're going to skip January's update. I believe they announced in the blog or they're not doing anything in January. We might be able to catch one inside February. So I will say I've been very lucky. I've planned the MVP meetings like the day the release came out. This is twice. Lightning has struck twice. Yep. I hit the meeting invite right before the actual the day of the release. So I probably won't be able to do it again. We may have to move the meeting around a little bit, but stay tuned. Thank you guys all. I really appreciate you. I can't wait to see you guys in person at an event sometime when we can all hang out and just chat and not have the whole rest of the world, I guess, hang out with us. We could just talk about things. Well, thank you, gentlemen, very much. And ladies, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Stay safe.
And
thank you so much.
We'll see you in the new year. Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone. Happy holiday.
Cheers, everybody.
Good New Year.